Hello and welcome back to Wales, where we paint away the stress of everyday life. And before we look at the palette, if it's the first time you've looked at one of my videos or my lessons, please click the subscribe button just down there or in the descriptions, or go along to hashtag Clive5Art, put that in the YouTube search bar, all my videos will pop up, including my channel, and just click subscribe. That would be good. Give me a thumbs up and a comment and I will always reply to you. So without further ado, today we're going to be painting on a canvas panel board, which is a 12 by 12 inch, and I just want to introduce you to a couple of different paints today. These are my own range of paints. I make these by hand myself. As you can see, I've got all a full range of colours there, which are on the website www.clive5art.co.uk. I've got a cum taff blue, a medium yellow and a yellow ochre, some titanium white, some midnight black and some burnt umber, and these are available on the website. Now if you haven't got them already, then you can use other paints. Of course you can, there's other manufacturers out there. So you just need a blue, a yellow ochre, a white, a black and a brown basically. I've also want to introduce you to a couple of my additives, my mediums. These are this is a slow dry gel which you add to acrylic paint, if I can get the top off, and I can't. I got one here, there you go. And basically you just squeeze a little bit of that out like that, and you add that to your paint, and that actually slows down and retards back your paint. I've also got retarder in fluid form as well. There's extenders in there which will add to the paint to extend, give you more paint for your buck. And I've got some medium mix, as I use every day, my medium mix, there you go, and that helps the underbinding of paint. So without further ado, let's get straight on to this painting. I'm just going to moisten down my palette like I do every time I start. I'm getting some titanium white. Now I've pre-gessoed my canvas panel, and I put a little bit of black grey type of colour into it. I'm going to get a light blue. I want a very, very light blue. I'm going to make this painting just slightly darker than I would like, because for the camera's sake basically. I don't want it to be blown out with bright light. I've got a little spray bottle again available on the website. I'm just going to moisten down my canvas. There you go. Just to put a little bit of moisture on there. That helps the flow of paint. And all I'm doing is I need to put a bit more blue into that. There we are. I don't want to go too dark, but I don't want to go too light. I got to think that I've got to watch the canvas. Canvas, not the canvas, Clive. I've got to watch the camera. I want this to be quite a light blue colour. You can see the way the paint actually flows across the paint in there, the canvas. Now this rain is coming down outside my studio. My mic might be picking that up. So if there's a bit of noise in the background, that's exactly what it is. There you go. Nice light blue colour. Now I'm going to be asked, there's a bit of contamination, could you possibly have just pointed the ground on first in this colour? Yes, of course you could. I've done it this way just because just for the basically camera's sake, really, more than anything. I'm just adding a bit of more of my Kuntaff blue. I'm just recovering from laryngitis, so it's a bit difficult to talk yet, but I'm getting there. So I got to try and pause in between speaking, otherwise I'll cough, and I don't want to cough. So I just added a bit more of my Kumtaff blue. Now if somebody are going to say, I know one of you are going to turn around and leave a comment on my video saying, Clive, that's all you were doing is promoting your paints and your shop. Well, of course that's all I'm doing. I've got to make money somewhere. YouTube doesn't pay a lot of money, and these lessons take a lot of time, and of course I've got to make money. That's what YouTube's all about, is about merchandise and stuff like that. So I've got to promote my products, otherwise I'll never make an income. And if I can't make an income, then I can't sit in the studio and paint away the stress of everyday life here in Wales. So if you want to support me and you don't want to spend any money, then that's fine. Just watch a couple of the adverts, because I will get a little bit of revenue from YouTube for that. Or you can pop along to Patreon. This is a public funded site, and for as little as $1 a month, which is about 80 pence a month, UK pounds, then you can support me that way. And there's a little PayPal button. There's a PayPal button, a donation button on the beginning of the channel if you want to just say hi and send me some support. And then that's what it's all about, is support. And that goes for everybody else as well. That goes for everybody else's channel. There's a lot of YouTubers out there that work really hard to try and do this content for you. And just mix a little bit of my burnt umber. There you go. They make us wonderful content for you, and all it needs is a little bit of support of yourselves. Because I watch a lot of YouTube, and I watch the adverts, and I try and support people where I can as well, because I know how difficult and hard it is to actually do things like this, especially lessons in art. It takes a long time to produce something the way you want it to produced, and it just takes a lot of time in general, really. And I'm going to dry that off with a hairdryer. There you go. Dude, that rain is coming down out there in cats and dogs. I don't know where that saying came from, actually. But I thought today, I thought today that I would do a little bit of a Christmassy type of scene. So, because it is Christmas Eve, and I thought, well, why not? So I'm going to paint my Taff blue, or light blue, whatever blue you've got. It doesn't have to be this particular colour, but I do recommend you give it a try and see what do you think of my paints. And the first thing I'm going to have is, are they archival? Will they work? Are they smooth? Are they like other manufacturers? Well, yes. The only difference between my paints and the other paints that you can buy on the marketplace, which are well-known manufacturers, is the fact that I make them by hand. Each batch is made specifically by hand, and they take a long time to actually make. And once I made a batch, then they'll last, and they're tubed, and they'll last as long, and they're as archival as any other brand that you will find on the marketplace, because they're made in no differently than the other brands. There's no difference in it, not really. It's just that mine is handmade. Mine are made by hand, by myself, in the studio in Wales. So they're handmade in Wales. There you go. So I just added a little bit more blue to that sky, which you can do. Now if you wanted to do this, the first coat I did, the first part of the lesson I did, if you wanted to do that with just gesso and that, of course you can do that. Of course you can. Who says you can't do that? Okay, so I'm mixing some blue, I'm mixing some white together. You can see this is a lovely warm red undertoned blue that I'm using. It's like an ultramarine blue, but it's not. But it's got that warm undertone. I'm adding a bit of yellow to that now to make it a nice green, and add a bit more blue because I want it to be blue green. Add a bit more blue to it. Yeah, a bit more white. I want this to look quite distant. So I've got that lovely blue green, which I'm just taking down with a lot of white. There we go. I'm just going to take the excess off my brush like that. I'm just going to test this. Yeah, that looks, yeah, that's a little bit, that needs to be a little bit bluer. Just for the sake of it. What I'm looking for is a distant effect. Let's try again. That's a little bit bluer. There we go. So we'll put some lines in like this. Like that. There we go. Just drop a couple of lines in here and there. And there you go. I'm making this a little bit darker. If you want to make it a little bit lighter, you can. Please do that. But because I want the colour to come out on the camera, so I'm gonna have to make things a little bit darker. I'm just gonna get that. pushing that in like that. Making it look like there's a mass of trees. We're going to do this with a fan brush. Old Bob Ross was good at this type of stuff. He really was. There we go. Just getting that. Just use the very tip of the brush. The edge of the brush. That edge there. And then just very lightly. Don't have to push hard. And you're just getting this pattern in there like that. Getting a little bit more brush. Paint on your brush. Some brush on your paint, as they say in Wales. Get a bit more paint on your brush and leave a couple of little breaks. Because I know all these trees are full of leaves there. Some of them are quite bare. The birds have been there and they've been pecking on them and pulling them off. Pulling the brush to a nice sharp edge again. Keep a couple of little longer bits and shorter bits and just put that down in there like that. Yeah, and now all you're doing basically is just building up some sort of a background of colour. Now, this needs to be about 2 shades lighter. In fact, looking at my painting that I can see on my canvas, this looks as if it needs to be 2 shades lighter. Now, if I did that, you might not see it on camera because it might just fade away into the background. That's how light it's got to be. So just bearing that in mind, and also bear in mind that acrylics dry 2 shades darker. So whatever colour you decide you're going to use, mix it 2 shades lighter at least, so you can get the effect. Because when it dries, it'll dry darker and matte. Acrylics dry on a matte finish. So if you wanted a glossy finish, then you can either glaze it with some glazing medium, which again is available on my website, as he says, as he drops the brush on the floor. Oh, into old Ben down there. www.clive5art.co.uk, or use any other glazing medium. My glazing medium is 100% pure acrylic resin, so it works really well for me. And the reason I make my own mediums and my own paints is because I got total control over my own artwork. These are not the paintings I paint for commissions. Commission work is totally different to these, and I like my own paints for that. So there we go. And I saved myself a bunch of money by making my own. Let's just try that again. What we can do now is we want to set that back a little bit more, don't we? We want a little bit of mist and stuff in there, because this is going to be snow coming in. It's quite a snowy day here, not in Wales, but this could be in Wales. This could be in the Brecon, or it could be in a forestry somewhere. I got a forest not far from where I live. So what we can do is we can get a little bit of titanium white. Now what I recommend you use for this is some mixing white. Mixing white is not as opaque as titanium white, but I'm using titanium white today because I want it a little bit more opaque. So the medium mix that I'm going to be using, what that does is got a lot of like a resin based thinner, and because you can thin that down with water as well, so that's all the moisture you're going to be using in your paints, so it's not going to break down the paints as much as just plain old water. And that's why I recommend using it. I've used it for years, in fact. So I'm just going to go very lightly, as you can see, very lightly, just over this. The other thing it does is, because it's a lot more stable than water, it's got binders in it. By having binders in it, then your paint is not going to lift as much. If you just try to do this with water, you'd find that if your paint film wasn't really dry, then it would lift off, and that's not what you want, especially in a painting like this. You don't want, there's a little bit of contamination on my canvas, but I'm okay with that. So just dull that back just a touch like that. What I'm going to do now is just take the moisture off my brush very lightly, just pull across like that. And what that does, it kills the strength of the background colour that we put in, the green, and just puts that little bit of a mist effect. You can see the difference between that layer and that layer. That's the layer we've just dried, that's the layer we've just added, and you can see there's the misty effect there. Now we can paint on top of that, that's fine. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to add a little bit more yellow and some more of my, that's a medium yellow by the way. It's called daffodil yellow. So if you want to pop along to the website www.clive5art.co.uk, you're looking for daffodil yellow because it's Welsh based. So I'm going to put a burnt umber to it. Quite nice dark, bit light, bit of white just to darken that down. A little touch of black just to grey it off. You can add white and black in the same mix because it's going to grey it. Ideally what you should do is mix a grey and use a grey to grey it down, or a complement to blue green basically would be something like a reddish orange, a reddy orange or something like that. So complement to green is red, so that'll dechromatize it or dull it back, or you can add a little bit of grey to it, that's fine as well. So let's just check that colour. That's a little bit too dark, so I just want to lighten that again. I'm just going to put a good old clump of white in there. Don't be afraid to take your time and play around with these colours. You can't rush it really. I wouldn't want you to rush it. Try not to paint in the same time scale as me. What I suggest you do is, you know, watch the video and then pause it, do a bit, and then start the video back up, pause it, and do a bit. And do it in your own time. Don't try and paint along at the same time scale as me. I went a little bit darker than that now, so I did a bit too much white. So I'm just adding a bit more black. Because I've tried doing that with different painting lessons that I've seen online and DVDs years ago, like a Bob Ross video, and you know, and as a beginner it's very difficult to try and keep up, because as an artist, we know all the little tricks. We know what this paint can do and what it can't do, and here we are, just using one brush at the moment. Same type of technique, leave a couple of gaps. Let's bring that down like that. There you go. Not going to see much of that tree anyway, so just block it in like that. And then we can do another one then, maybe there, on a bit of an angle. He's had a bit of a wind blown there. Wind blown high and the wind blown low, high, low, high, low. It's blown over. There you go. Just make it look Christmas tree like. You take your time. You've got more time than I have. You can put another little one, maybe this down there like that. There you go. It looks Christmassy, doesn't it? I'm going to add a little bit more blue to that. I'm just going to change the flavour just a touch. It's like baking a cake. Sometimes we need to add a little bit more sugar to the cake to make it a little bit sweeter. So let's put another one. Let's put this one like, it's a bit old cronky, that one. Had a bad winter, that one did, one year. He started growing and the wind was blowing and he grew, and then the wind stopped and he grew the other way. There you go. The squirrels like this tree. Gives them fun. All the baby squirrels run up this tree and play, and it's their favourite tree in the whole forest. There you are. And we can put a few bits and pieces now, bits of grass and stuff like that. We can play around a little bit there like that, just to make it look a little bit more foresty like. Let's put another one just in between there, like that. Same brush. This is a painting with one brush so far. You know what the trees are like. You, in your world, You can make the trees whatever shape you want them. Nobody's going to tell you off. In fact, let's do a tree here. And let's do the tree, the leaves going up, because these are all sod. These are happy. This is a happy tree. Yeah, he's a happy one. He's smiling, he is, because he's tucked away in a corner there. And he knows I'm not going to get blown away in the wind. Here we are. We've got a nice happy tree. So we've got sad trees and happy trees. It pays to be mad. It does. So I'm going to get a little bit of burnt umber. Mixing that in there like that. And let's just put a few little different tones of colour. In fact, let's get a little bit of black. Let's just put a little bit of shadow on a couple of these trees. Just to give them a little bit of, because they're closer to us, so we can see a few more bits of detail and stuff. There you go. Just put a few bushes and twigs and all that other stuff there. Bring that down like that. Bring a bit of that colour down now. Cleaning your brush. Whoa, look at that. I think it's time we dried that again, so we got a little bit of distance there. I hope you could see the distance I've got going there. We're going to put a bit of middle ground in now at the moment. I would say that's the middle ground, so maybe a little bit of foreground. I think I'm just going to work on another, maybe a big tree or something, and we're going to put some deers in there. Yes. This is quite an expensive painting. It's going to be too dear. Okay, so I'm going to get a little, I don't know, long detailed brush like this, and I'm just going to make it a little bit thinner. I'm just going to put maybe a little tree. It's got no leaves on it like that. A couple of little twigs here and there like this. Nice and thin. We don't need this nice and thin. There you go. Get a bit of black. Let's just put a couple of trunks in, maybe like that. There you go. Next bit I'm going to do is quite fun. I'm just going to use any old brush. This is just this was a brush I was going to use for foliage, but I just decided, well, I'll just about use it now, and I didn't want to clean the other ones anyway. Get a little bit of blue into my white. So it's a bit of a blue-white. I'm going to do some snow in. I'm just going to drag some snow around there like that. Just dragging the brush gently onto the canvas. It's leaving some of that undercolour coming through. There you go. You can get maybe just a little bit bluer as we come towards the front. Put a bit of that blue in there like that. Just dragging it, just have fun, let the brush do what it wants to do. Just, so it's not going to be finished yet, we haven't finished it yet, so don't worry. There you go. You can get a bit of snow Don't want it too thick. This now, just a couple of these branches like that. Maybe there's a bit of snow down there. Very lightly touching. You don't want a lot. Just a powder snow. It's just been wisping along. It hasn't been really heavy snow, not today anyway. It's just a few whispers of snow just on a couple of these branches like this, just so you can see this. It's been snowing. There you go. Some branches haven't got snow and some branches have got snow. It's been quite whispery. Whispering. I tell the birds what it's so. Whispering grass, those trees don't need to know. There we go. Just a bit of whisper. Snow, like that. Nice whispery snow. I do enjoy this. I'm going to get a nice stiff brush now. I've got a toothbrush here. There you go. A nice toothbrush. I don't clean my teeth with this toothbrush because it's got paint on it. I got one of those. Electric ones now. They're quite good. So I'm just moisten down my paint. I'm going to pull towards me. I'm going to get some snow into this now. So just put some whispery snow in, like that. There we go. Just put some whispery snow in. You can see the snow falling. It's Christmas time. There you go. Oh, that's lovely. I like it. I do. I'm feeling Christmassy already. Okay, so what I've done, I've taken the liberty of drawing, where have I put it? No! I've taken the liberty of drawing two deer, because I said this is expensive painting, but it's two deer. So I've drawn that out on a little bit of tracing paper, and one of the reasons I do that is because I can decide where I want to put him, or them. So I haven't decided quite yet, but I'm going to show you how to trace that out, but I've got to dry that first. And it's always a good idea to draw on tracing paper because you can move things about. So you might be able to do the same painting 3 times and have the deer in a different place. There you go. It's worth thinking about. So what I've done is I've put my trace in there. I've decided where they're going to live. I got a little bit of this carbon paper. This is the old paper they used to put between 2 sheets of paper when you used to use the old typewriters. So I thought I'd give that a try today and see what would happen. Anyway, I've gone ahead and traced over that, and hopefully, fingers crossed, the image should be out on the other side. Now I normally do this just on a white background because acrylic has got a bit of a shiny surface to it, and it doesn't quite like the carbon. But you can use charcoal or you can use graphite anywhere. You could just put that on the back of this and then you could trace through. But let's have a look, see what we've got left. Well, he's there, just about there. Yes, I'm not that happy with it, but there you go, just there. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to get myself a little detail brush, and I'm going to paint around. I'm going to paint around him with some burnt umber and some black, or them, I should say, some burnt umber and some black, just to give myself a better outline to work from. And I'm going to block in while I'm at it as well. There you go. I'm just going to block that in, I think, with some burnt umber and some black. He's there. That's a nice stag there. It's not a very good brush, that one. Don't know why. I think it's one of these cheap brushes I bought from in a pack for kids, and I did a lesson on it a while ago. or how to use those. Well, not so much how to use them, but were they good enough for painting? And they were. Well, it's not doing too bad a job. So I'm just gonna get. This is not gonna. I'm not looking for 100% perfection on this one. I'm not looking for 100% detail and accuracy. This could be something you could do for a Christmas card, and what I suggest you do. I know it's a bit late now, being Christmas Eve, but what you could do, you could get a couple of paintings done during the year, and then use them then for Christmas cards, couldn't you? You could. There we are. We get in there. Just going to add a little bit more white. I'm going to add a little bit of white into his face, just to find some features there that I want. There we are, just to make that stand out just a touch. Another the ear there. I can see what I'm doing. I hope you can too. Just got a little. He's a white-tailed deer, I think. And just take some time and just enjoy the painting process. And if it's raining where you are, then just listen to the pitter-patter of raindrops as they hit the window pane, and or even your studio roof like mine. And just think of the last year that we've spent, what's happened in our lives. And my throat has got quite deep. My voice has got quite deep because my laryngitis is playing up again. But that's not too bad. I don't mind talking like that. I sound like one of those people on these commercials, don't I? Yes, I do. There's a natural lottery here, live. Your lottery balls are 4, 24, 36, 19, and 14. There's one winner. Always snorted as well. You don't do snorting on camera, Clive. Well, you can if you want to. Life's a bowl of cherries. They say that, don't they? They say life's a bowl of cherries. I don't know. I don't like cherries. I never have. Okay, I talk too much, and when you talk too much, sometimes you make mistakes. So we got our deers, our expensive deers. We got our deers in place there. So I'm not going to do too much more to them because I've got them lined out. She looks like she's pregnant, so I'm going to have to straighten her back or something. But I think it's okay for the moment. I'm going to get some yellow. Let's just move my medium mix out the way. The medium mix is available on the website www.clive5art.co.uk. Comes in bottles like that. So, okay, so let's put some yellow. Mars Black and yellow. Mars Black or Midnight Black. My Midnight Black is basically the same type of thing as Mars Black. Midnight Black is quite a blue black, and I quite like mixing greens with my blue black. I do. I'm using a fan brush now. There you go. Same type of things with the tree, but I'm going to put a happy little tree here. Nice happy little tree. Hey, that looks quite nice, doesn't it? I like that. I do like that. Let's get a little bit of white. Let's get some white. Let's get some snow on this tree. So I'm going to mix a little bit of white with that. Green. Just get a little bit of highlight on this tree first. And then we can put some snow in later on. There we go. Just put a little flick here and there. Get some snow down in there in a second. Just bed that down, and let's get some more green, and let's put a little baby one. Let's put a little baby one there, and let's just put a remnants of one. He's just off canvas, but he's coming in because he doesn't want to be left out. I don't want to be left out. He's just there, like that. And we've got this other one. Let's bring it. Let's bring it more that way, like that. There we are. It's a little bit darker, this one. It's just going behind the deer. There we go. That looks good. Let's just get a little bit of a shard of colour. Just coming in like that. Put some snow on that in a second. In fact, I think we're going to put a remnants of a tree by here as well. Because you want to be left out, does he? He's got to have a little friend. There you go. This edges it off a bit. Get a bit of white. Let's just get some snow. I'm going to dry that off in a second so we can put some more snow down in there. Because the snow is not going to take on that because it's too wet. I'm trying on this side, but it's a bit too wet. It's a bit too wet to take the snow. Yes. This is mixing with the colour. We don't want it to mix with the colour like that. Yeah, I'll just put a couple of little marks in like that. Okay, so what I'm going to do is let that dry, I think, and I'm going to go into a decent detail brush now. I've got a decent detail brush here. There we go. We'll use this one. This is a number 4 brush. I got some yellow ochre, which we haven't used yet. I'm going to, oops. I got some yellow ochre, which I haven't used yet. I'm going to put some burnt umber to it. Just to darken that yellow ochre off a touch, and let's just get some colour into this stag. There you go. Take your time. There's no need to rush. Just take your time. You've got more time than I have. Just put the first layer of colour in. There you go. That's the first layer of colour. There you go. Like that. And she's got some of this colour on her as well. Let's just straighten her back up a bit. There we go. Get some yellow ochre now, pure yellow ochre. Just put some, I'm trying to make it delicate. Just a bit of I nearly said delicatessen. Bit of delicate work there, like that. We're going to add a little bit of white to the yellow ochre, just to sparkle it up a touch and lighten it and change its value. Why would I say delicatessen? I don't know. Maybe a little bit more white. Don't forget, like I said earlier, acrylics dry 2 shades darker. They do. You spend a lot more time, please, on this than I am doing, because you're going to need to put a fair bit of detail into this these days. I'm just going to go into a smaller brush, a bit of black, just to try and get his features roughly right. There we are. Go back into that burnt umber and black that we made earlier, just to get some shadow onto this face. There you go. Trying to bring it to life as best I can in the time I've got, which is not a lot actually. Trying to make the most of the time I've got. Where's Christmas, and it's another year nearly over, and another 52 lessons to think about and plan. That's for sure. But we'll get there. We'll have another good year this year, I'm sure. We'll have another good year this year. You've got a bit of snow settling on his antlers, there we are. And why not? Get a few dots here and there. That's not snow, that's just the dots on the fur. There we are, we're nearly finished. I think we've nearly finished. We really have. So what I've got to do now is get that brush that we put the snow in. I'm just going to get some more snow, or paint. In my case it's snow. I'm going to drag down some snow. There we go. A little Christmas card type of painting. We're going to put some snow on those trees in just 1 second. Just get a bit of shadow coming down. Grass is a funny old stuff because the snow will adopt the colour of some grass as well if it's not too thickly laid. So you're going to get a little bit of that snow-like look. So I'm going to dry that off very quickly with a hairdryer. I'm just going to get some snow on the tree. And as I do this, I am going to get my iPhone out. And I'm going to place my iPhone to my side. I'm going to hold this in my hand as I do this. And hopefully I should be able to take a video of what I'm doing as I do this for Pinterest and Instagram, Facebook, and the community tab on the channel. So don't forget the community tab, hashtag Clive5Art. Go into the main channel. You not only can you subscribe, but you can give me a thumbs up on the videos, and you can leave me comments, but you can go into the community tab as well, because I post a lot on there. And I'm going to be hitting 100,000 subscribers before long. So I'm going to be hitting 100,000 subscribers before long. So there's going to be a lot more content in there. So we're just going to put a little bit of snow just on the trees like this. There you go, just a little bit of snow just on the trees because it's been snowing really badly here today, and there's some snow in the background as well, as you can see, and you should be able to see me using my camera to video this. And there we are, one little Christmassy scene which is going to be available on Christmas Eve. So join me then. So we can add a little bit more white snow or paint. It's entirely up to you, what do you call it? We can get some more white paint on our brush and we can laden this tree down with some snow. There you go. Put some snow underneath there like that. And if you like what you've seen today, please subscribe. As I've said, down in the descriptions, down on our little button there. At the end of this video, you will also see a subscription button down there. So please subscribe. It's important that you subscribe to get more lessons. I hope you've enjoyed this little Christmas painting today, which hopefully should be out on Christmas Eve. But if you come across this video and in June or July or whatever time you watch this video, then don't forget you can try it and get it painted ready for the following Christmas. There we are. How fun was that today? So thank you very much for joining me in the studio. My name is Clive from clivesart.co.uk. Don't forget to pop along to the shop and please subscribe, as I said, and paint away the stress of everyday life here in Wales with myself, with fantastic lessons like this uploaded every Monday at 7:30 PM. Bye.